the Richard family and the shadow of the Thorn. Deep in the forest of Wakanda, where sunlight pierced the canopy like fractured glass, the Richard family lived inside a fortress of thorny vines that twisted and curled, alive with a secret will. The thorns grew thicker each day, sharper and darker as though fed by the fears of the nearby villagers. Mama Richard, with her calm grey eyes and hands that shimmered faintly when touching earth or water, was the healer and heart of the family. She had inherited a legacy of power and exile. Her gift was both a blessing and a curse, bringing life but driving others to suspicion. Her eldest son, Nuru, had hair that shone like silver moonlight and a voice that could call the storms. When angered, his words rolled through the forest, bending winds to his will and uprooting trees. But beneath his power lived a longing to be accepted and loved. Rose, the middle child, sang songs that could both summon rain and weave shadows. Her lullabies sometimes carried a haunting quality that unsettled the villagers. Some whispered she was cursed, others feared the darkness that seemed to cling to her melodies. John, the youngest, was the family's mystery. He rarely spoke plainly, choosing instead to riddle his words. He vanished and appeared like a forest spirit. When the barn burned mysteriously one night, people said John danced with flames no one else could see. The villagers of Wakanda kept their distance. Mothers warned their children to stay away from the thorn fence. The elders muttered prayers to guard against the Richard family's strange power, fearing their magic was dark, unnatural, and dangerous. The Richard family lived not with cruelty but in fierce loyalty. They protected each other against a world that despised them, their thorny fortress a symbol of their isolation and their resilience. One long, dry season, a sickness struck the village, withering crops and afflicting children with fevers no healer could cure. Desperation led the villagers to the Richard family's thorny home, begging for Mama Richard's healing. Mama Richard agreed, but only on her terms. The villagers must leave their curses and hatred, admit their fear, and welcome the Richards into their community. Only then would the land be healed. Under the full moon, Mama Richard called the forest spirits with songs and chants that vibrated through the earth. She wove herbs and waters into a powerful ritual, her hands glowing faintly blue as the earth beneath her hummed with life returning. Nuru stood guard at the thorn fence, calling winds to keep wild beasts and dark spirits away. His storms shook the trees, a warning to those who might harm his family. Rose moved through the village, singing her lullabies that soothed the sick and calmed the terrified. Her voice was both light and shadow, a fragile comfort wrapped in mystery. John moved like a shadow, unseen but felt, whispering riddles and striking fear into those who sought to harm his family. When the bonfire happened, villagers whispered it was John's silent fury burning away their hate. Though the land healed, fear still simmered in the village's heart. The elders, jealous and suspicious, whispered dark plans. They plotted to destroy the family they hated. One black night, the villagers attacked. Torches flared, axes struck, and they hacked through the thorn fence. But the vines fought back, twisting and lashing with a life of their own, drawing blood and fear. Nuru's storms howled, ripping branches and scattering attackers. Rose's songs shattered glass and bones. Mama Richard stood, wounded but unyielding, healing her family and herself even as she fought. Jon struck from the shadows, silent and deadly, protecting his family with unseen strength. The fight left many dead or broken. The village was shattered. The plague had been a curse, born from the elders' envy and hatred. Mama Richard was badly wounded, Nero captured, and Jon disappeared into the forest, becoming a whispered legend among both family and village. Slowly, the village learned the price of hatred and fear. Nero returned scarred but alive. Rose's songs grew stronger, healing old wounds. Mama Richard's hands restored not only the land but the village's broken spirit. Jon remained a mystery, the shadow guardian who watched from the trees, a silent protector of the family's legacy. The Thorn fence grew thicker than ever, a living wall of both protection and warning to the world outside. The family rebuilt their home and themselves. They taught the children the power of loyalty, the cost of fear, and the strength found in unity. The villagers, once filled with hate, slowly began to change. Some came to understand the family's gifts. Others still feared. The Richard family's story became a legend whispered in the wind, of a family cursed and blessed, hated and needed, bound forever to the land and each other. Through storms, shadows, and flame, they endured, proving that even when the world turns against you, family is the unbreakable thorn that protects and sustains. They learned that power without love is a storm that destroys, but power with love is the seed that heals. And in the darkest nights, when fear threatens to tear them apart, the thorns remind them, no matter what, they grow together, sharp, wild, and unyielding. For the Richard family, exile was never the end. It was the root from which their strength and legend grew. Lessons. True strength is born in the soil of rejection and watered by resilience. Fear blinds people to the gifts they most need. Family is the thorny fortress that guards us against the world's worst storms. Power without love will always bring destruction. Love without power can still heal. The darkest curses often hide the greatest blessings. Isolation is both prison and sanctuary, depending on how you live inside it. Those who seem most mysterious often hold the deepest truths. To heal a broken land, you must first heal broken hearts. Loyalty in the face of hatred is a rebellion stronger than any weapon.